Some pro rata distributions. It's okay. The product is designed for a seller. And so I think it's important for investors to understand that's the nature of investing in illiquid assets.
Craig, thank you for being here. We didn't even get to data centers, so I hope you'll join us again, and we're certainly going to continue our focus on Blue Owl. Appreciate it.
Thank
Craig
you.
Patrick.
Let's get the opening bell here in the CNBC Real-Time Exchange of the big board. Aerospace company Starfighter Space celebrating a recent IPO. At the NASDAQ, it's Red Cat, a developer of tactical drones for defense and security. Jim, as we continue to churn around here after breaking that 3-day win streak yesterday.
Look, I could argue again, all I really care about, and I don't want to be too simplistic, is are rates going to go up or down? Because if rates are going to go down, then I want to buy. There's a third of this market that is just terrific. There's another third that we talked about just now with Craig, which is this very questionable series of enterprise software and SaaS.
What is going on, guys? Good morning. Good morning. So GDP came in significantly lower than expected. You could see here that it was expected at 2.8. Last quarter was 4.4. And we got a 1.4% reading. Not only that, but Core PCE, which is inflation data, came in higher than expected, and the price index came in higher than expected. We do have one more set of red folder news at 9:45 a.m., and that's manufacturing PMI. VIX calls are actually going through the roof. I bought the VIX 19 calls a couple days ago. They're currently up 25%. And then obviously I have the Tesla short as well, still open, as Tesla is now dropping. I think Tesla gets to the 200-day moving average eventually. And I think the Qs will get to the 200-day moving average. I wouldn't be surprised to see a counter rally based on just based on a manipulation. But I do think that we do have these equal lows on ES. I do think it's possible for us to take out that low. Now, keep in mind, we have so much data here today. We have, not only did we have GDP and, what did I say? PCE and PMI, but we also have, it's also OPEX, meaning it is the monthly expiration for options, February 20th, third Friday of every month. So we have OPEX as well. Let's see what happens right now. But I think we get a counter move to maybe London high. Let's see if I can find a trade here. We do have PMI in 15 minutes. Good morning, guys. What's going on? Big Scalp, what's going on? Paranoid, Jacob, Simon, iPro. What's going on, guys? I think we'll see a long... Actually, there is a 15-minute right there. Huh. I wonder if we even get to 8:30. Or do we go lower? I think my draw on liquidity is that February 17th low. That to me seems like the draw. I don't know if one of the indices takes out 830. I'm going to be patient here. Let's see what happens at 8:30. I'll check the JEX data in a second. But the market just opened. And we do have news in 9 minutes. The final set of red folder news today. Had to set my volume to 11. How the fuck am I supposed to know what 11 means? Is that high or low? So far, we see that NQ took out 830. ES didn't. Spinal Tap reference? Okay, I know I'm old. I'm not that old. I think there might be. Oh yeah, and there's a potential Supreme Court decision today. I think there might be. Like I said, I'm not convinced that is the draw on liquidity. I think the draw on liquidity is that February 17th low. But I don't know if we want London high. Or not. Anyone buying Grail? Of course. I didn't even have to look at this shit. I knew that this was some sort of sinking ship, falling knife thing. When someone said, anyone buying Grail? I don't even know what the fuck this company does, but I knew the minute that someone asked that the chart would look like this. Guys, you need to get out of the bargain shopper's mentality, okay? Trading, or investing in this case, is not like buying discount Halloween decorations at Target. This mentality that everything that goes down must go up. No. You're going to lose your ass doing that. And the funny thing is, the people that invest like that, have done this time and time again, and they still won't learn. They look at this and they see this and they're like, I must buy this. It's down 50% in one day. That's great momentum. I must buy this. Invest in good companies. And I'm not saying this isn't, I don't know what the fuck they do, but I had a hunch that the chart would either look like this or would look like a falling knife, would look like Adobe. That's the only time people are excited to buy. They're not excited to buy, Google at 15% off. It's always the hot bag of garbage that they're interested in because they think that somehow that's going to make them rich. Buy low, sell low. Stock price on Target went up $1 based on Z's reference. Does YM work in conjunction with ES and NQ for divergence? That is a great question. And the answer is yes, but draw on liquidity is the most important thing. Crazy candle on Google. Is it? It's crazy that a $300 stock went up by $4 when the market opened. That's crazy to you? You know what? Someone asked about SanDisk. This is actually... no, not SanDisk. Which was the company that did an offering recently? Was it SanDisk or what was it? Was it Micron or SanDisk? Which one did an offering recently? I don't know. I don't want to miss this. Okay, we don't have that divergence at 8:30. So I think NQ takes out London high. Let's see if ES does. Hey, will silver pull back? I want to get in. Silver is just consolidating here. If you want to get in, just get in. It's been at this same price for almost a month now. SanDisk did the offering. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll look at that in a second. What is your opinion about Destiny Tech? The fuck is that? Tariff ruling may or may not be today. Yes, that's correct. The first window is 10 a.m. All right, so NQ took midnight and ES didn't. I'm not convinced this is that was the bottom for the day. If you look at here we go. If you look at the 30-minute, you'll see why I say that. Look at this. This whole model started on Feb 17th. Four hour. This is such ugly price action. I honestly think that is going to be the low for the day. But let's see. I still think obviously this is in a opening manipulation long. And I'm just trying to spot where the divergence is. Let me look at RTY and YM real quick. And then I'll get into some individual stocks. I wonder if that works on RTY, actually. I think that trade might work on RTY. Let me look at the high time frame. The thing is, like, the daily chart on the indices is so ass. I wonder if we get a rejection on Nebius here. This is something that I'm monitoring. Even though it has been the strongest data center stock. I think iron gets back to between 28 and 33 eventually. But I would like to see iron sweep these highs before coming back. Bust it down for us. Bro, what I look like, a stripper? Go to King of Diamonds. You want to see someone bust it down? PMI came out. Pretty unremarkable, but I think GDP and PCE are more important. You look like Giorgio Tsoukalos, the host of Ancient Aliens. That's real original, buddy. It's also funny that you say that. Sometimes when your mom wants to get into role playing, she makes me wear his mask. She says, talk about aliens. All right, let's see if ES wants to break down here. Antonio, thank you for your donation to St. Jude's, brother. Appreciate it. I haven't even really started to trade and try and make you money. So always appreciate the donation before that. Very selfless. Okay, dokie. this trade might work here. Let me see. NQ 3-minute. Turn on the lights in here, baby. Extra bright, I want y'all to see this. Let's see what happens here. Are you going to wait till Supreme Court? How the fuck would I know what the Supreme Court's gonna do, bro? Do I look like a stenographer? Only the Supreme Court knows when they're going to release a decision. SoFi? Question mark. Fucking ask a question. SoFi question mark is not a question. Lorenz Billups, appreciate your donation, brother. Thank you, man. All right, let's see if we get a retracement up here. Would you short CoreWeave? It's down 8% today. If you were going to short it, you should probably do it beforehand. SoFi company. I swear, some of the people asking questions shouldn't be allowed to manage a brokerage account. SoFi is sleeping bad? Yeah. It's a piece of shit company. Like, what would make you want to buy SoFi over, say, JP Morgan? Or Robinhood? How would the market react to a strike on Iran? I could talk about that. I'm just waiting to see if I get a trade here. 1200. Actually, that would be perfect. Let's see here. I'm going to try to take a short on NQ. Oil stocks killing it. Not going to say I told you so. But I told you about Devon Energy, Occidental. I said oil was the only commodity that hasn't broken out yet. Did we take the high of the day? $8.30, that's a breaker. Come on. Let's see where the gamma is right now. $68.80. Is where we had the most gamma, but if we fall through 68.55, we could get to 68.40 first. ES will show its hand here. Let's see. I'm going to take it in ES. You know, one thing that I'm thinking here, because we do have home sales coming out, right? ES does look better than yeah. This is fucking haywire. Wait, when did consumer sentiment become yellow folder? That is so wild. Anyway, consumer sentiment came in almost as expected. Inflation expectations, and we have new home sales coming out.
Conditions. 58.3 was our mid-month read, goes all the way down to also 56.6. And it really is weird because
Fucking
all
news
these numbers are the same. 56.6
Yellow
in this
folder
case
my ass.
would be the weakest since January when it was 55.4. And once again, expectations, they stay at 56.6. They are at 56, so all three readings are exactly the same. And that would be the lightest, the weakest since Dece of 25, Now, let's go to the inflation numbers. 3.5 for 1 year goes down to 3.4. 3.4 would be the lightest inflation rate since January when it was 3.3. And finally, the 5 to 10 year at 3.3, well, that now equals where we were in January. The lighter number would be December of last year. So we go from 3.5 to 3.4 on 1 year, and then the mid-month read on the 5 to 10 goes 3.4 to 3.3. So a little bit of good news on the inflation front, but once again, growth is on the light side, just like the GDP number. We also have new home sales for December out, and for that we go to Diana Olick. Diana?
Well, Rick, new home sales in December, which remember is backdated because of the government shutdown, came in at 745,000 units, seasonally adjusted annualized rate. That is down 1.7% from November. November was higher than expected. So the street was expecting 738. We got 745, but it's still down month to month, but up 3.8% year over year. Now, remember, these are based on...
Breaking news, Supreme Court will issue a reading on tariffs today. That's what caused that news. They're going to issue a what do you call it? What the fuck? Opinion on tariffs today.
Well, we are going to have to talk some
tariffs, the so-called IEPA. That is the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The Supreme Court was deciding whether or not that law was appropriately applied to the president's authority to create tariffs that he did throughout 2025. Now, this applies to all the president's tariffs related to what he called Liberation Day and that massive change in geopolitical and trade relations that we saw around the world. This ruling is now in, and we are looking at it right now, Carl. It's 170 pages, so I'm going to take a moment and read it here before I tell you what it says. But we do have the ruling from the Supreme Court here on the president's tariffs and whether or not they are legal or not. And we're going to go through it line by line here momentarily.
I have the same decision in front of me, Eamon. This is going to be a dense read, and we're going to be very careful not to go with any news unless we have it absolutely cold. We'll give you a chance to go through it and talk in a few moments. Eamon Javers watching SCOTUS. In the meantime, we're going to have to weigh a bunch of other things. FT has a piece up in the last few minutes that Iran may be working on a proposal that might avert any kind of would-be military action in the Middle East. Did see a little spike here in the market as we got back above 68.60, which is roughly where we closed yesterday.
Right, we're digesting a weaker GDP. Market kind of brushing it off on the government shutdown because government spending declined double digits. So that was such a big part of the weaker GDP print and higher inflation print as well, especially core prices came in at a big jump. I mean, 3%. So you don't want to see the inflation moving in the wrong direction. I will note all that inflationary pressure came from services, most of it not necessarily from goods. So it wasn't necessarily a tariff story. It was more a services story. On this ruling,
I'll back you up there because the PMIs that we got a few moments ago did mention, here's S&P, average input costs rose sharply again in February, linked to supplier price hikes, tariffs, and higher wages.
I do think that definitely was a manipulative move, and we will likely see a counter trade now to go down. What about SoFi, bro? What about it? What about it, bro? It's insane the number of people that ask about SoFi. They act like it's fucking Apple or something. SoFi created a generation of bag holders. It's a cheap stock. And so people are attracted to it because they think that cheap stock means they're going to get rich. And then they start reading things on social media that confirm their bias, that say SoFi is a generational buying opportunity. It's going to go to $100. Then SoFi tanks because it's a shit company. And now you go from investor to bag holder to longtime community member. That's a story of SoFi. And I really implore you guys to... SoFi is going to 150. Watch. See? That's all I'm talking about, bro. If you think SoFi is going to 150, your IQ is the equivalent of SoFi's current price. That's what I'm talking about, though. You know, it's like, it's sad. I think there might be a short here, but it's really sad, to be honest, because people lack basic stock market education. And, you know, I think rightfully so, because there is a lack of hope. Folks want an opportunity to get rich quick and hit a lottery ticket. And so they want to find a cheap stock that they can hitch their hopes and dreams to. And then there's no objective analysis of that company at all. It's just, you know, they can never change their mind on whether it's a good investment or not. It's always going to be the same narrative in their mind, because now they're stuck. Trust me, I've seen this time and time again. I wonder if this works here. Do I want to take this? Hold on. Where's data high? That was the Supreme Court ruling. Are they reading it out loud? No, not yet. Not time for a trade here. But there's no objectivity, right? It's just wanting to, and I get that, right? But that's why prediction markets are big. That's why sports betting is big. You know, people have lost hope. They know that their jobs are going to be replaced, and they want to hitch their wagon to something. And, you know, they find a cheap stock like SoFi, and they hope that that's going to fulfill their hopes and dreams of not being broke. And then they can't find a counter narrative, or sorry, they can't be objective about whether it's a good investment or not. Right? Another thing is, people don't understand momentum. A stock can have good fundamentals. Adobe has great fundamentals, okay? PayPal has good fundamentals. SoFi might even have okay fundamentals. You have to understand momentum. Is the momentum with a stock like Robinhood or a stock like SoFi? Be honest. And if you're honest, you would know that the momentum is with a stock like Robinhood, even though Robinhood is currently down. But, you know, Robinhood is still trading at almost $80, much higher multiple than SoFi, meaning more quote unquote overvalued. But you really, you know, have to understand when your stock or the niche that your stock is in vogue or not, right? Now, if you bought SoFi here, you know, would you, is it a bad investment here? It's not necessarily that it's a good or bad investment. And this looks like a pretty decent level, by the way. And if you like, I'm not ragging on SoFi. Let me show you something that I posted this a while ago now. Okay. But if you search for, let me see. I posted this back in December. I said, if you love SoFi at 30, you're going to love it at 20, right? And obviously all of the SoFi fangirls were in my replies saying you're wrong or blah, blah, blah. Whatever this guy's saying. It's going to 150, you know. And now it's at below 20. But is it a decent buy here? I have to re-examine its fundamentals. It could be a decent buy, right? But thinking that SoFi is going to change your life, get the fuck out of here, man. Be realistic. Be realistic. Where's my chart? Okay. You know, and I'm not saying that I'm the end all be all of investing, not by any stretch of the imagination. I want you to get to look at things objectively, as opposed to having this belief based on things you read in your echo chamber. And the more you read in SoFi communities, the more that it makes you excited and hopeful. It's not how investing works, bro. A lot of people are talking about SoFi and TikTok. I'm a victim. Yeah, for sure. $7.90 average for SoFi. Okay, that's good. There's a lot of people that bought it at 30 and are now longtime community members. Guys, it could go to 300. I'm going to fucking mute this idiot. I feel a similar situation for Tesla bulls, not even in the slightest. Because at least Tesla... Oh, hold on. Let me stop talking here. Whoa, we just got a 7,000 print on the S&P today. What the fuck? It is OPEX, so I understand it's all over the place. Take it with a grain of salt. It's options expiration today. Is it going to be worth more than 19 in 5 years? Maybe. Are there better things to buy than it? Yes. Where do you stand on some health stocks? What is some health stocks? That doesn't mean anything. Let's see if we drop here. I still haven't taken a single trade because it's so much data being released. People were saying that about Robinhood. No, dude. People were not saying that about Robinhood. Robinhood actually has momentum behind it. And SoFi is not Robinhood. They're completely different stocks. I think there might be a short here. What about the repeal of tariffs? Yeah, I think that that initial reaction that you saw was because of that. I haven't read. Let's listen in for a second.
14th. It's according to Cato and some of the estimates. So 133.5 billion. The question is going to be on the potential implications now about whether that gets returned and to who and how that all plays out.
And that's why I say it's going to be a huge be a huge food fight in terms of how that money gets distributed and who it gets distributed to. 133 billion is our best guess, Sarah. You're right. That is the current number. It's probably higher than that. We just don't have the latest numbers in yet. But remember, it's not all of the tariff revenue that the administration has collected. 293 billion have been collected overall in the president's second term now. So a big chunk of the president's tariff revenue, but not all of it, is now being struck down by the Supreme Court here.
I just wanted to, the market reaction is sort of interesting and worth discussing, Mike, because the retailers are actually gaining on this. They're the ones who have paid the highest tariffs because they manufacture all their product overseas. It's notable because we sort of expected this to go this way. The oral arguments, I think, on November 5th seemed to suggest that a majority of the justices were skeptical about this. And the poly market and Kalshi odds actually favored this kind of ruling going against the president's.
For sure.
Keeping all that in mind with the market
It's not out of the blue. The response does seem more narrowly focused and kind of isolated to perhaps the biggest beneficiaries if the tariffs go away. I did also note some of the non-U.S. ETFs bounced huge, like the India ETF goes vertical. Okay, all this idea that maybe there'll be a little bit of relief. Reversing the tariffs, that's a receding factor in the investment equation at this point. And let's have a tariffs. I'm not saying a factor in the investment, give or take on tariffs. I'm not saying.
Yeah, market is kind of wonky right now, but for sure, all of the stocks that have China implications, like Nike is up 2% today. I bet you Apple is up today slightly. Amazon is up today. I think Amazon might have found a local bottom. This is one of the stocks that I was super bullish on below 200. Yeah, but I think that based on this reaction, so far, the short-term reaction was enough to counteract the bad GDP numbers as well as the higher than expected PCE numbers. But two, we're not seeing a humongous rally in stocks that have China exposure, like Apple. Amazon is up a little less than 2%, but we're not seeing this massive rally, which makes me think that, it might have been somewhat priced in. I was showing you guys the Kalshi odds and the, what is that? Poly market odds, right? Like, it was pretty expected that the Supreme Court would shut down the tariffs. But there are other ways that the Trump administration can go about tariffs. So I don't think that this story is a one and done. This is very tough to trade. Let me look at gold real quick. So we swept London low. This was the tariff ruling here. We also swept London high. I think there might be a short on gold. I have to look at it on the high time frame real quick. Hold on. By the way, going back to the topic of fundamentals and stocks, and if you don't know, or if you want a more convenient way to get fundamentals extremely quickly to determine whether the stock that you're trading or the stock that you want to invest in is a fundamentally sound stock, I built, and in the process of building an app from the ground up, AlphaScope.trade. This is going to be, in my opinion, game changing. There is nothing like it that is currently on the market. I built it myself. I have coders, but I designed it myself in the same exact way that I use when I look for investments. So you're going to be able to search a ticker, and it literally, in one page, you don't have to go through multiple pages. And one page will give you all of the information necessary to make an investment decision on your own. But free cash flow growth, free cash flow ratio, obviously basic stuff like PE ratio, forward PE, the company's revenue growth, the CAGR growth, net income, etc. And it's all going to be on one page, so you don't have to go through pages and pages of info. But I'm really excited to show you guys this. I can't show you screenshots just yet. However, two things. One, obviously, I wanted to make it as accessible as possible, right? So that you can make the quickest decision possible. And especially for those of you who don't know how to do fundamental analysis, or always ask about this stock or that stock. Trust me, not only will this give you a fundamental snapshot, but will up your game in terms of learning how to value a stock for yourself. And two, I wanted to make it low cost. So it will be under $20 a month for the subscription. We are going to cap the number of people that can access this when we finally release it in a month or two. So put your name on this list. You'll see it in the pinned comment on YouTube, but alphascope.trade if you're not on YouTube. Put your name on this wait list and you will be notified when we finally release it, and you will have the opportunity to sign up. But like I said, there isn't anything, in my opinion, like it on the market currently. Yes, I built it exactly what I would want to see as a consumer. Like literally everything, every metric that I use to analyze a company, I wanted it to be displayed on one page without the user having to go through pages of bullshit and try to determine whether what they're investing in is sound or not. I think there's a short on gold here. Will it tell us if SoFi is crap? Will it tell us if SoFi is crap? It's not going to say whether it's going to give you the fundamentals of SoFi, and then you can determine that. TYTT. Hi, do you earn your income from trading or YouTube? All right, let me respond to this idiot real quick. The funny thing is he's watching a YouTube channel asking me this. And I'm very, very transparent about this. This is, I don't know if YouTube will get mad at me. This is how much money I make from YouTube a month. $4,000. What the fuck do you think? And as if like earning money from YouTube is a bad thing. Bro, I'm You know how many educational videos I have on YouTube, you dumb fuck? You low-life piece of shit. Do you know how much time I spend creating videos for people on YouTube, market updates, things that are completely free? I have over 1,000 videos on YouTube. What's wrong with making money on YouTube? And it's only $4,000 a month. So what do you think? Is that enough to cover your bills? Your mom certainly wouldn't date me if I was making $4,000 a month. She's a gold digger. She told me, you have to be making $10,000 a month minimum, or you can't date me. I said, yes, ma'am. Do you make money on YouTube? If you count the number of hours spent on filming, coming up with research, editing, etc., it's not even fucking McDonald's money, bro. I hate the YouTube crowd. I know, bro. And the funny thing is, he signed on to a YouTube channel and saying, do you make money from YouTube? Fucking people are insufferable, dude. The indices here are untradeable, in my humble opinion. Has to get out of this range. And unfortunately, might happen during lunch. But all of this data, the tariffs, the PCE, the GDP, new home sales, consumer sentiment, is all baked into here. And we don't really have, like yesterday was horrendous. If you guys tried to trade the indices yesterday. What's wrong with him? Just asking a question? Nothing. What's wrong with me responding? And obviously, a question is not just a question, right? There's always insinuation there, as if making money from YouTube is bad. You're watching this. You think that what? Just wasting my time doing this? No, I like to, one, when I do the lives, I like to trade live. But two, I really care about putting out good market info every single week or twice a week so that people can make better decisions with the market. I don't understand how the insinuation that making money from that is somehow undignified. You fall into the habit of berating people who are watching you. No, not in the slightest. I appreciate people who watch. I appreciate people who donate to St. Jude's. This is not berating people who watch me. It's people who are sitting behind a keyboard trying to take a jab and can't take it back. That's all it is. People start clutching their pearls when someone responds back. And it's like, oh, you're on YouTube. You're not supposed to respond like that. You're a creator. We watch you. Like I always tell you, I'm respectful if you're respectful. That's it. Basic tenet of life. You want respect? Be respectful. St. Jude's posts a list of all donors? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't walk over to St. Jude and hand them money. It's a program that YouTube thankfully enables. So it's connected directly from YouTube. It has nothing to do with me besides me doing this video and saying donate to St. Jude. So everything goes directly to them. And you can look this up on YouTube if you want. The tariff is AlphaScope only for the U.S. market? No, it's worldwide, bro. Yeah, the tariffs, like I said, I mean, I think the indices here are trading in a range. This, like I said in my free, by the way, weekly videos, I think that you'll get an initial reaction from the tariffs, but that it won't be that big of a deal because I don't think it's that cut and dry. I think the Trump administration has a few different avenues in order to try to get those tariffs reinstituted. I will make a video about it, like a more detailed video about it. But this right here was the reaction from the tariffs, and we've been chopping around ever since. But the fact that, you know, Amazon, Apple, Nike did get a bit of a reaction, but, you know, lost it. The fact that these stocks aren't rallying like crazy means a couple of things. One, that a lot of the tariffs were priced in. The tariff decision was priced in. And two, that the market knows that it's not really a fight that's over yet. I want to see if we can get up to this on gold, and I might want to take a gold short from up here, but it might only want the 0.5. Yeah, I have not taken a trade yet. Again, one thing that is really fucking with today's price action as well, remember that it's options expiration. It's Friday OPEX, monthly OPEX, right? February 20th. So that is also messing with the volatility. Now, if you're an options trader, today's a nightmare. Because not only, like if you're an options day trader, sorry, today's a nightmare. Because not only is this chop going to kill your premiums, but implied volatility, as options expire, right? Implied volatility is also decreasing. Which means that your options premiums accelerate their losses. But this type of chop is I'm going to take this trade in gold, probably. What the hell is going on? Bro. So we are at the golden pocket here. The only thing is, hold on, I got to measure this fib too. 1 second, guys. I wonder if we want to take out that high. Come on, don't fucking freeze on me. Is there 5-4? Yeah. So the reason that I took this trade here on gold, this short, is because we were at the golden pocket of this move. There is a little VI there. It's not an A+ trade by any means, but I think if it works out, I can get 2 to 1 from it. Oh, shit. I didn't see these equal highs here. That's a 2-minute fair value gap. I'm going to close this at break even here. I'm going to wait for that high to get taken, and then I'll think about the short. I'm going to wait for that high right there to get taken. Let me pull up a fib once again. Hold on. If we take out that high, excuse me, sorry, we'll be at the 0.786 of this entire move. Yeah, the thing that signaled danger to me was, see this here? That looks like a 2-minute fair value gap going somewhere. Where's that somewhere? That somewhere being this high here. That's a great call. And it's really equal highs. And that is the 0.786 or 0.76 of this entire move. That's why I had abandoned that. Good call. Let's see what happens here. So we swept these equal highs. This right here is 930 open. So what I want to see now, after sweeping that, do we get a close below 930 and below this fair value gap, and then I'll take that short. Let's see. But for those of you that trade options, I honestly would not. I would not trade options today. Like if you're trying to day trade Amazon or whatever, I would not be day trading this junk with options. I think you're much better off just waiting until Monday. If all you day trade are options. Swing trading different. But this right here, this is just a mess. And if you're not familiar with the channel, in terms of stocks we bought recently, Meta, obviously, at 600. Dollar cost averaged on Hood. I still do have a buy at 66. Don't know if it will get there. Microsoft, to me, is a no-brainer. Amazon, no-brainer. And I did send out a buy on Google, even though our buy on Google is at 140. But for those that want it to dollar cost average 15% down, that's a no-brainer in my opinion. So just picking and choosing spots here. I do think Palantir is finally at a spot that is decent for a dollar cost average. I personally am not investing in this company, but I know that a lot of people ask. Do you think indicators such as detecting breaker blocks equal highs or unicorn is harmful long term than helpful? Yeah, because I don't know if those indicators, one, actually work. Two, why would you not put in the work yourself to find that stuff out? The more time that you spend with the charts finding that stuff organically, the better off your trading will be and the better off your understanding of these concepts will be. If you're relying on an indicator to do it all for you because you don't want to learn it, that's an issue. For me, I do have an indicator that, puts in London high and low, Asia high and low, very basic stuff, but the highs and lows, one, I know how to do it already. Two, it's a lot more convenient, but like finding breakers and fair value gaps and order blocks and stuff, no, I don't use indicators for that. Do you know what caused the spike around 10? Was it news? Yes. Tariff news. You wait too long to trade, you need to hammer. All right, bro, go to a different channel. Or, I don't know, go buy scratch-it tickets from the gas station next to your house. Worry about your own trading, bro. Check out Rely. Just a quick look. No. How can I watch you trade live either every day? I go live every day in the Discord. Why the tariff news was a good thing for the market, since it's actually hurting the economy. The market crashed because tariffs were announced. What do you think is going to happen when those tariffs go away? It's because companies will have higher profit margins. But also, this is just I think this might be the short. Hold on. This is just a one-day reaction. Asking why the market reacted one day on a piece of news is fruitless. Silver is parabolic. Why? Silver has been in the same range for a month. I wouldn't call this parabolic. If you're talking about this, you can look up why the metals rallied. Okay, I think this is a short. Let's see what happens here. Do you see a continuation for this rally? What time frame are you talking, mate? Today? For the rest of the year? Bad news, market goes up. Guys, the tariffs being shot down is not bad news. It's more money for the companies. Why do you think, like, when you look at what happened, this right here is what happened when tariffs were announced. And then the market adjusted to it, right? What do you think is going to happen when the Supreme Court says tariffs are no longer a thing? One, it means cheaper prices for the consumer. And two, it means more profit margin for the companies. But also, this is a one-day reaction. Keep in mind that the market has been pent up, right? So if you look at the market, look at QQQ, we've been in this range since September. And by the way, when the market rallies, it's going to be violent when it rallies because of this consolidation here. And I do think that, you know, we will get a correction later on in the year. Probably, if we're going off seasonality, will be spring, summertime, because it's a midterm year. But I do think the S&P can put in another high first, for sure. Anyway, this is all just a one-day reaction. I'm trying to find a short on gold here. This 1 hour candle expires in 5 minutes. I wonder if this works here. Let's see if I could take this down here just for a scalp. We have 930 right there, but if we can flush below 930, and I'll explain the trade in a second, whether it wins or loses, but I think shit's so crazy today, man. We're stuck at 930. $15-minute fair value gap. There's just so much data today that wicks on both sides. But if we get below 930, then I think we flush. We're just stuck there right now. Well, silver's flushing, but silver might take out that low first that I'm gunning for on gold. Come on. And there's a 5-minute VI here. Man, today is a fucking painful day to trade, to be honest. Yeah, I might just close this out here for break even. Blah, blah. I'm not very convinced of this trade because silver started dropping before gold did, but it did hit a major support level here. While gold is still stuck in here. So to me, that gives me a red flag that gold is a little bit stronger. And it's just dancing on 930 open. So the move that I will look for, I want to see the 1 hour or at least a 30-minute sweep something. There's just nothing clean right now. It's crazy that we're still trading within last Friday's range on NQ. That Friday 2% candle. I think coin, oh man, coin is looking interesting now. Oh yeah, this might be the fucking swing of the year.
All these other authorities to impose tariffs under the law require some sort of process. You have to conduct an investigation. The investigation has to issue a report. That has to be over 90 days or 180 days, et cetera. All of that means that the president doesn't have the light switch authority to turn tariffs on and off the way he has been doing over the past year. That limits his flexibility. So the White House has said they will find other ways to impose tariffs because the president has this as a core economic belief. But those other ways won't have the kind of flexibility the president has believed he enjoyed over the course of the past year. And so that's going to put the White House in a box. How quickly can they do this? How fast can those tariffs have legal effect? And what is the gap between now and then in terms?
Yeah, this right here looks like an A+ swing on coin. I'm going to send this out in the Discord. Yeah, another good break even here, in my opinion. So 2 break evens on the day. Do you see a continuation for this rally in the next 2 to 4 weeks? Yeah, I think it can. But I think you have to realize that 2 to 4 weeks in the span of what we've been dealing with is nothing. Right? This is the NASDAQ since September. That's way more than 2 to 4 weeks. So yeah, I think, it can. I do think that the S&P will put in another high, as I've been saying, before any real correction. But I don't know if the NASDAQ puts in another high. Either way, so many stocks, A+ stocks are beat up. ASML, fucking crazy, almost a new all-time high. All right, I don't think I'm gonna day trade anymore until at least the PM session. Because right now I don't like the way that price is delivering, at least for day trading. I do think that there are a couple of good swing setups here. One that I think could be potentially the swing setup of the year. Been waiting for this breakout for a while. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, wait a minute. Look at all this bullshit, bro. Give us a good fucking setup. Why do you hate Tesla so much? Me? I don't know what you're talking about. My son is new to investing. I got him to take out a sub to TTT. His knowledge is exponential in just 3 to 4 months. Hell yeah, man. Super proud. I wonder if this falters today. We do have divergence here. So far, nothing A+. I canceled one trade and I closed the other for break even. but I've not taken a real trade just yet. There definitely have been prettier days, that's for sure. All right, I'm going to go work on some write-ups and swings, particularly this coin one. This is starting to shape up like an A-plus trade. Very similar to what happened back here after it broke market structure. I just don't know that Bitcoin has bottomed yet. And I would have loved Bitcoin. Oh, you know what? This is actually a good exercise. If we go back to April 2025, did Bitcoin and coin bottom on the same day? April 8th, 9th. Yes. Bitcoin and coin bottomed on the same day. I never saw what was the insane opportunity buying the dip on SoFi at 25. That was not me. I don't own SoFi. How you see the narrative building up going to the weekend? I'm not sure what you mean. Obviously, stocks don't trade on the weekend. So I have no idea what you mean. Yeah, so I need to be convinced that Bitcoin has bottomed here. And it is plausible if we get a break of structure here. This is all very, very similar to last April. How about Circle? Yeah. Them too. How do you feel about the proposed 23-hour trading day? I don't care. Futures already trade 23 hours a day. So what's the difference? Okay. Maybe this is it. So divergence, let me see something. I think this might be it. Let's see. So we have divergence here, bearish divergence between NQ and ES. Can't DraftKings be a great opportunity entering the market? Yeah, but that's a very basic question. What's DraftKings valuation? And what do you think it should be valued at? Don't just buy ticker symbols like lottery tickets. I think this might be the drop here. Come on, don't fuck me. Oh, gold wanted that 5-minute VI. Shit. I think there might be a short coming up. So we rejected off the 5-minute VI. I think NASDAQ has a short too. It's just not as optimal of a risk to reward as gold. I think this can play. Yeah, I'm going to scalp this here. Let's see how this plays out. I'm going to try the scalp here on gold. To that low right there. I think we hit a major level, that 5-minute VI. But I don't know if that takes us down to back down to 930. Price is so wonky today. Will I finally get paid on this? It's only a 6-point stop, so I don't mind it. I think the risk to reward can be big. Nice rejection block there too. This is bouncing around between 1300 and break even. I just want to see it flush to that low. So many volume imbalances, right? You see one here too, where we're seeing some support. We need to squeeze through that for this to beautiful flush. Come on. Bro, this thing's going from like break even to 1400 to wow. This is not for the faint of heart. It's an asymmetric bet. Again, the stop is 6 points. So I'm not tripping here. We swept on the 30-minute. 1 hour rejection block. Gold and silver divergence, as you can see here. Just need follow through. Yeah, that volume imbalance is whoosh. That 3-minute volume imbalance is crazy. Aren't we going to see a bull trap right now? I mean, time frame matters, right? You can see a bull trap in 1 day. You can see a bull trap in a month. You can see. I'm not gonna move this stop limit here. I'm gonna let this play out. But based on the risk reward and the divergence between gold and silver, I don't mind this trade at all, because if it pays, it'll pay me big. Yeah, I thought that the indices were a short for sure. As I said, it's just I wasn't gonna get a clean entry, right? I could have front ran when divergence occurred between ES and NQ, but you know, we just flushed without giving an entry. But if you look at gold and silver, there's divergence between the two, right? You have higher high on gold, lower high on, or sorry, higher high on silver, lower high on gold. We hit the 5-minute VI here. And I entered a trade you can see we have a tiny IFEG here, but there's a VI here as well. So that's where I entered a trade. It's a 6-point stop, so I have 3 contracts. It'll be about 1,800 if I get stopped. All right, stopped out. That'll be my only trade. I think day trade until the PM session. This delivery is kind of wonky here, to be honest. But I really like that risk to reward, especially with that divergence. As I said, I do think that the indices are going to flush, and they are flushing, giving up those tariff gains. But I thought the setup on gold was cleaner. At least it gave a better entry. Because by the time that we closed below this FEG here on NASDAQ, it was already so deep down, and we didn't get a retracement back up. The Tesla puts that we're in, the swing, still clean. Just need to see a bigger rejection here. back down to below 400. I swear if this motherfucker sets up here. All right. Anyway, make sure that you guys sign up for AlphaScope. If you want first access to this app when we release it in about a month or two, it'll be game changing in terms of the way that you look at investments. I promise you that. Otherwise, kind of a wonky day. Not that we didn't expect that with OPEX, GDP, etc. You know what? But this is giving the opportunity for a short here. And depending on how coin closes today, there might be a swing opportunity here. Remember, coin used to be priced at in the 400s, but since then tanked to about 140. For those of you in the Discord, I'll see you in there in a few minutes. And for the rest of you, I'll see you